multi-instrumentalist?
In the band myself, I record all of it, so I play the drums, guitar, bass, and the vocals in this. And aside from all the band stuff, I was in classical music at CCM, so I used to play a lot of classical percussion. I haven't really touched it since.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the purposes of Fat Sal, I play drums, bass, guitar, and I sing.
So out of all the instruments that you play, what's your favorite?
I still think it's drums. I mean, it's just the most fun.
Right.
I don't know, playing it live, I can't like sing and play the music I write from the drums, so I have to play guitar, which I've really started liking more recently. I've been playing guitar for as long as drums, but I just didn't like it as much. Mm-hmm. And I just started liking guitar a lot more. Like, right when I got to college, I started seriously working on it. I could like play chords and stuff before, but then I started really working on it and grew to like it a lot. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of catching up to the drums at this point. But
cool. Do you have names for your instruments?
No. I used to for like a couple of them, but I think I got rid of all the ones I used to name. And I didn't name any of the other ones.
So you talked a little bit about CCM. How was that, the classical side?
I liked it at first, and then like the second year I was there, I just kind of stopped liking it.
Yeah.
I just don't like school in general.
Right.
I thought it would be easy, like going from high school and then going into music school. I thought making school about music would make it interesting and I'd be good at it, but it was still school. So
right.
I ended up dropping out after 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do this.
Heck yeah. So you and I have some high school experience together. How was drumline back in the day from what you remember of it?
From what I remember of it, it was the shit.
Right?
Yeah, it was like I put the most work into that than like anything else until like auditions came around for college. But yeah, I remember that was really like outside of school, just like the thing I did the most, and definitely the thing I've practiced the most still to this day. I've probably put more hours in on marching snare than anything else.
Who's helped guide you on your music journey throughout your years?
Recently, in learning how to like record myself and put together a song well, it was my two roommates, Joe Tellman and Jake Knight, really taught me how to record myself well, definitely, and just putting a song together, like structure-wise. They've just always been around since high school, and I've pretty much learned most of what I know just watching them do what they do and working with them, too. I was in a band with Jake for like 2 weeks, and I was in a band with Joe, I think, for like 2 years.
Yeah. Who are some of your musical inspirations, whether it's drums, singing, guitar, or whatever?
I don't know. I hate to say like the Beatles, but I don't know. There's not a lot that I can like point to. In the early days when I was like starting drums, I was really big into Green Day.
Yeah. And
I would just like come home and play through American Idiot on drums. But after that, it was never like one band at a time. It's usually this bad habit of like finding one song by a band that I like, and then like 2 years later, I'll go listen to the rest of their songs. But it's usually just a cobbled together playlist of stuff that really has no reasoning to it or any even specific genre.
Who are some of your favorite artists currently that are around?
Yeah, well, obviously, there's all the boys. There's Tasteful, Dead Humor, Saving Escape, Co-Etc. Boys.
The Chads.
Just, the whole gang of Clifton bands that's around here. Mm-hmm. And then all of the offspring of those bands, the Jazz Club Drug Ring and the Stab and Grab, and everyone else, I forget. There's probably some others that are branching off, but I mean the whole little Clifton collective of bands up here.
How do you feel about the Cincinnati Clifton community? Is it seeming how it's growing and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean I love seeing it grow, and it just keeps getting like closer, but it keeps bringing more people in at the same time. And it's really kind of been like that for a while, but it feels different now in a way. Like, just feels closer knit, especially after the whole year of not being able to play house shows and stuff. it just seems like closer than ever now. Except now everything's getting postponed and whatever because, again, everyone's getting sick. But once we get over this next wave and start doing it again, it's going to be the same type of big summer, I think.
Yeah.
And then, and it's, when it's cold, it's also harder to throw house shows and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, I like the future of Cincinnati as a music city. I think it's getting better, and all the musicians are getting better, and everyone's just kind of not really like competing with each other, but kind of just working off of each other and growing as a big collaborative group.
How was going through COVID for you?
Boring. Yeah, pretty shitty. Except, I mean, that's how Fat Sal happened. Was
right.
I was bored. The band couldn't play shows when I was in Typhoon, and I had like a bunch of solo stuff that I was sitting on that either I didn't feel confident with or I didn't think it would work with Typhoon. So we got this place in July of 2020 and started putting it to work like September, October is when I recorded like Feel So.
Yeah.
And then from then on just kept recording more stuff down here and putting it out, and that's what happened.
Very cool. Where'd you get the name Fat Sal, if you want to tell it?
I had a dream that I moved into this house with a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
All the people I went to jail with for the protests.
Yeah.
2 years ago now. We all moved into this house, and our first piece of mail came down through the chimney for some reason and just like sat itself up perfectly. And like I went and grabbed it and opened it, and I just turned 21, so it was like my new driver's license.
Yeah.
But the name on it was just Fat Sal in like all caps. And I just thought it was like the stupidest thing. I wasn't even going to use it for anything. I just thought it was like a funny dream, and I told everybody. And then a couple of them told me I should just use that as like the stage name, and so I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
You want to talk about getting arrested, how that protest was?
I mean, it's the same story as like everyone else had.
Right.
There were, I think, 300 people arrested my night, or maybe 100 or something. 300 the last night. But there was 500 total over this weekend, where the curfew was 8 p.m. and everyone would walk downtown from Clifton and go protest, and we were like parading up the street, and they were trying to keep us like in a big glob, like they weren't letting us break off. So they were throwing these like flash grenades in the alleys that we wouldn't run down there. And so they like sectioned us off and like kept us going up this like tube where they were following us on either side. Like a street over on either side. And then we like didn't see cops for a while, for like 5 minutes, and then it hit 8 o'clock, and right when it did, there were cops just everywhere, like surrounding us. There were like SWAT vans and sheriff's trucks and Cincinnati police just everywhere. And so we took off running up this hill and ran into the woods, and this one guy he was like a medic or something there, and he went down into the basement of this abandoned house, and we were like, you're crazy for that, like we're not going down, they're gonna come down there and find you.
Yeah.
And so we ran back. For some reason everyone couldn't agree on where to go. I was like, guys, let's keep running up the hill towards home through the woods, like that's obviously we're not going back down there. And everyone else was like, let's just stay here in the woods and we'll hide. And while we're arguing about this in the street, a cop car pulls onto the street and turns its lights on and starts like gunning it down the street. We run back into the woods, and then they're just coming at us like with their guns out and shit, and telling us like, put your hands up, we'll shoot you if you don't come out.
Jeez.
Stuff like that. And then the dude who went down into the house actually never got caught.
Of course.
The one we all called stupid for doing that.
I bet he made fun of you guys.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
We deserved it. We just sat there arguing with each other on where to go until a cop found us. And then we just tried to hide in the woods after they already watched us running back in the woods.
Wow.
Yeah, we spent the night in jail. It was like, we got arrested at like 8:30. We got to jail at like 9:30.
Yeah.
We were finally like processed by like 1 or 2 or something, and then got out on bail by like 5 a.m.
What days was that over?
What day was that? I think it was June 30th or July 1st, something like that.
How was your night in jail?
It was so annoying. Like, it was actually like a lot of camaraderie between all of us in the jail. There's one guy who came in for a DUI just like pissed drunk. He started yelling at the cops.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like so angry and such like a bitter drunk man. And he was like, "Hey, Porter, come here, you like yelling at the cops like that. Like that's what he said.
Yeah.
And the dude comes back and he's like, "Shut the fuck up and sit down." And he just like keeps yelling at him. He's like, "Porter, I fucked your wife." And he comes back and he's like, "All right, come here, stupid." And they take him out and like start beating him up and take him somewhere else.
Wow. A real Frank Gallagher, probably.
Yeah. Some dude had like little weed candies hidden away in his pockets that they never found when they searched him. And so he was just like taking them the whole night.
Yeah.
That was funny. He wasn't even part of the protest. He was just in his yard at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But it was on McMicken, so he was just going to like walk his dog, but he got caught outside.
Yeah. Transitioning into something a little different. How wide would you say your music taste is?
I'd say fairly wide. I mean, I think everyone would, but...
Right.
I mean, I go back and forth on things. It's always like a mood thing, you know, if you're in the mood for one genre or another. It's not like I only listen to one thing ever.
Do you still listen to much Pokey Lafarge?
Yeah, I still do. Yeah, I hear Gabe playing it from upstairs a lot more than I actually listen to it. But.
Yeah. How would you say your music taste has evolved over time as you've grown older?
I've gotten a lot more accepting of things I wasn't at first. Like, you know, it's like when your tastes change. It's an acquired taste, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like an acquired taste for like old country music and for some hip hop stuff. And it's still like not a lot of it. It's just like certain things I pick and choose.
Right.
Like I started liking like Kendrick Lamar and Mac Miller, and then on the country side I started liking like there's that Farron Young song, and then Glenn Campbell was something that I didn't like at first, but then it grew on me, and a lot of that was Joe Tellman playing it a lot. We played one of his songs in Typhoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's changed. It's not really like, I haven't excluded much. Like, I haven't had a lot of things that I liked before that I don't like now. It's just more grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about Typhoon, and is that still around, or you guys?
No, that ended a while ago.
Yeah.
That ended like March 2020. That's not coming back. I mean, everyone's gone now.
Yeah.
Doing something else, except me and Lee. But
how is Lee doing?
He's great.
The man of many talents.
He's a champ. I think he's graduating after this semester.
Oh, really?
If I'm not wrong. But yeah, still the best saxophonist I know.
Absolutely.
Killing it, playing with everybody in Clifton.
For real.
Yeah.
If you had to name your top 5 bands and artists, who would it be?
The Strokes would definitely be up there.
Yeah.
They've gone 2 years in a row on my Spotify Wrapped at number 1.
Nice.
Other than that, I mean, the Beatles are always up there just because they're the Beatles. You know?
Right.
It's lame to say, but...
Sad but true.
Yeah. And I mean, they're one of the bands that I've actually listened to a lot of their stuff. There's a lot of bands I'll just pick one album and not listen to anything else.
Right.
Because, you know, what if the rest of their albums aren't as good as this album? Then what am I going to do? Like the other 3, I don't know. I listened to a lot of Pokey Lafarge. That was a lot of my like singing training, was listening to Pokey Lafarge and singing along with him on the way to Kings Island when I was 16.
Yeah.
I was working there, and I had his 2 CDs in my car, and I would just sing along to those on repeat. That's where a lot of my like overdone vibrato stuff comes from.
Yeah.
It was from him.
That's cool.
Yeah, other than that, I don't really know. It's just...
whatever you're feeling.
Depends on the moment or whatever, yeah.
I've had several car rides with you over the years, and pretty much any time a song would come on, you know all of the words and can just sing it perfectly. How's that been?
It's just a matter of doing it a lot. Like, it's those Pokey Lafarge albums I've listened to like 100 times each.
Yeah.
And like, even when they come up on like a Spotify shuffle, like I know all of them. And like, the worst thing is when an album's on shuffle and I start singing the next song before it starts, and then it goes to a different song, and I'm just completely caught off guard.
Yeah.
And look like an idiot. It's fine when I'm alone.
Yeah.
But if I start doing it, I'm like, oh, the next note's going to be like, "Ba-do-do-do-do," and I'm like, this is a completely different song. I'm like, shit, never mind.
What's your songwriting process for Fat Sal been like?
Well, usually I'll just come up with some kind of chord progression that sounds good,
Yeah.
and then after that, just sing whatever over it until I find something that works, and then build a theme off of that for the lyrics, and then once the chord progression and structure are done, and there's at least a verse and a chorus of lyrics, once there's a structure, I'll just go and do the drums and the bass, and then the guitars, and then usually I figure out the rest of the lyrics after I'm done. That's how I went for Can't Help. I recorded all of it. Then I got to the vocals and realized I still hadn't written like half of the song, lyrics wise. A little while I started with no lyrics at all when I was writing it, and I'd actually done all of the song instrument wise in one day, and then went over to Joe Tillman's house and was like drinking and hanging out with them, and then when I left I just came back here and did the whole song, wrote all the lyrics and just sang the whole song, and that was it. In a little while I was done. But yeah, Feel So was the only one that was like written and done before I started recording it.
Yeah.
Other than that, they just kind of, at least the lyrics just kind of come on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one out of the songs that you've released, what's your favorite?
My favorite, like as a recording, or my favorite to play? Because I think those are different.
Yeah, we'll do both.
Okay, my favorite to play is probably Feel So.
Yeah.
And my favorite recording, I think, is Can't Help.
Mm.
Which I hate to say because it's the first two. It makes me feel like the other three or four weren't as good, but what are you going to do?
What's your favorite show you've had as Fat Sal so far?
That's a tough question.
We ask all the tough questions here.
Yeah. I'm really getting grilled.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Shit, we've had some good ones. I mean, like all the house shows we've done, I'm trying to think of ones in particular that were like really good. 'Cause I remember there's been a few at my house that were all good.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, the cops came at the end of the Tasteful set. I remember that. The ones in July, like the first ones, those were a lot of fun. Because those were my first house shows back in like a year.
Yeah.
I remember the one at your house was the first Fat Sal show.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, that was a good show, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And that there was the one the next week at the Cove, which was the one up in the attic.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there, but I think you were.
Yeah, I got there for your set, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a cool spot, but they don't do shows there anymore.
Mm.
What was the other one that month that we did? In July. Maybe it was the one. Oh, no, it was at the Jail Gang house. It was Andrew Moss's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was just Fat Sal, I think.
That was the first show I took pictures
Yeah,
of.
yeah. I remember that.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had quite a few shows. I mean, just all the house shows. You pick any one and say it's my favorite.
For real, yeah.
And there's a different reason why each one would be it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the house show scene?
I love it. It's
Yeah.
like the best part of Clifton.
Definitely.
Like, it's a big reason to be here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've never gone to house shows anywhere else, but I can't
Right.
imagine they're like the Clifton house shows. Like, I mean, there's just so many people that come, and it's like a lot of the same people, and then some new people every time. And I like always know people there.
Yeah.
And so it's a fun thing to just everyone gets together and does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a frat party or something, or
Yeah.
it's like there's something to do there and watch the bands and like.
Yeah, you're not just there to drink and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
vibe out. You're there to just actually watch somebody
Yeah.
do
And
some
it's-
crazy stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of them are really, really good. and so it's like impressive. And it's fun to watch your friends play.
Right.
Just the people you hang out with get to play in front of all these drunk 20-something-year-olds, and it's always a good time.
Definitely. When's the Fat Sal album coming out?
I get asked that a lot, the Fat Sal album. I don't know if it's ever coming. I've given it some thought, and I always think, I'll do it maybe for the fall, or I'll do it this time, and I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when I'm actually going to write the stuff for it. And it could be starting tomorrow, or it could not start for 6 months. Like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
But if I ever get plans, I'll let you know. Right now I'm just in writing mode, so there's no real plan for it at all.
How's the Fat Sal lineup for live shows? Is it a kind of a revolving cast, or do you keep it pretty much the same?
For like who's playing in the band?
Right.
It's always the same, with the exception of Lee. Lee and Chris Aldi switch out every once in a while when Lee can't be there.
Yeah.
We'll have Chris come play, but that's the only thing that changes. If Hunter or Eric can't do it, then like we just can't do it. But it's nice having Chris, because he's like Lee's roommate and good friends with Lee, so Lee just taught him everything real fast, and Chris picked it up super easily. Like the first practice we had with Chris, we just ran everything, and he just had it already.
Dang.
So it was easy. It's
like Lee's there.
Yeah.
Very cool. What artist do you want to collaborate with the most?
I already did a little collab with Pete from Co Etc.
Yeah.
Wrote a little country song, a little 8-minute country song.
8-minute country song?
Yeah, it's called Waking and Making Bacon.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know, we might put it out on like SoundCloud or something, but
oh yeah.
It was a fun time. We just wrote it together. Like, I think we just got drunk one night at his house and wrote this song, Waking and Making Bacon, and then just sat there writing lyrics for like 2 hours in his basement, taking demos of it. And then the next day we came down here and just recorded a full version, and we recorded some of it at his house too. Yeah, that was a good time.
Now you, for the Fat Sal stuff, record everything yourself. What's that process like?
I mean, it's pretty fun for me. It gets frustrating very quickly, but the Can't Help recording thing, I was down here just like by myself trying to do the drum take, and I mean, setting everything up takes like an hour in the first place, and then I had taken like an hour to just run through it again and again and again. And I finally thought I had the take, and like it sounded good, and it was all in time. And so I started doing the bass track, and then like halfway through the bass track, I realized that the drums were like just felt wrong. Like they were right technically, but like they just weren't right at the same time. So I had to go back and reset up all the drum stuff and do the drums again, and to just feel it more is what I was telling myself. Like, it's like all the hokey stuff. You're like, you just gotta feel it. Like, it's just what I told myself, and I did it again, and it sounded better, and it felt better. So then I just kept going, and then got the rest of it down. And the guitars also took forever because there's that little like, solo thing at the end. But yeah, that's pretty much the process: is start something, and then get frustrated and flip flop around on whatever, and going back and forth, fixing stuff, and then taking good stuff and accidentally messing it up, but you can't go back because you already recorded over it.
Where do you see yourself and Fat Sal in the next few years, if those are going to still be intertwined?
If all goes well, hopefully we'll start traveling around and getting some shows out of town. All the Clifton bands, we always talk about going on a little tour around like Kentucky and Ohio and whatever. There's always talk of tours and tours happening, and they never happen, but I'm hoping one of them will stick and we'll actually do it here maybe in the summer or like something like that. And then, I mean, at some point it's also a matter of luck. If you if it pays off, if the right people are at your shows, if there's a good amount of people at your shows and whatever.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully in a couple years we're just ahead of where we are now, at least.
Absolutely. What do you think makes a great musician in your eyes?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways. I don't think there's like one thing. Because you could say like someone who practices a lot will be good, but I don't practice a lot. I think I'm at least not bad. And I don't know. You can say determination or like having the feeling or whatever. Like you can say a lot of things about it, but I don't know. I think it just comes down to if your music's good or not. It doesn't matter like how hard you tried or what you overcame or whatever. It's just all that makes a good musician is your music good.
Right. Even though music's very full time for you, do you have any hobbies and interests outside of it?
I've been making the shirts.
Nice.
That's always fun. Bleach dye them and take them over to Ava for the screen printing. Other than that, I mean, I haven't been doing much recently. I just kind of hang out with the boys, drink beers with the boys. Other than that, it's music.
Yeah.
Like, I watch TV and I make music.
What's your Chipotle order?
It used to be a burrito for the longest time, but I've converted to a bowl with white rice and steak. And this is controversial, but I get the queso, even though it's extra. And then I get the green salsa, because I learned my lesson with the red salsa. I can't eat it. I can eat it, but I don't like when it comes out.
Right.
So I get the green salsa, and then I get cheese and lettuce, and then I mix it all up, and I get chips too, and I eat it like nachos.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the best way I've found to do it. I've been to Chipotle a million times.
Right.
I haven't strayed too much from the original order, but learned a few tips along the way.
What made you switch over from burrito to bowl?
Joe Tellman getting the bowl and eating it like nachos. It looked like more fun. And you get more food. That's what everyone says. You get more food.
How do you feel that social media has affected the music industry?
It depends on how you look at it. Like, it can be a good thing because, like, smaller bands like Fat Sal can now just easily, like, tell 500 people that there's a show happening.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, having to go and put posters up, which, like, I know Tasteful still does. Like, they're all over doing their shit. But, yeah, I mean, it's nice for, like, smaller bands to just have a way to easily tell everyone what's happening and show off their stuff and whatever. So I don't think it's bad. I think it's good, but there's also just the bad side of social media aside from that. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I haven't touched on that you want to talk about for a little bit? Just, like, speak your thoughts.
I don't have a lot of thoughts. It's pretty empty upstairs. No, I don't know. I mean, Clifton's good scene. Fat Sal's having fun. That's all that matters.
That's the important stuff.
Everyone's having fun, except for the past 2 weeks when everyone had COVID. But
yeah.
Other than that, now we're all supposedly immune, so we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll get triple vaccinated now, I guess, instead of my double, which did not work. Apparently, I got it for like a week. Ooh. I was only sick for like what felt like 2 days.
Yeah.
So, but then I just sat around and watched TV for 5 days. So it was boring, but it's kind of nice to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
And have a reason to, at least. It kind of sucks when you don't have a reason to and you just end up sitting around for 5 days anyways.
Yeah.
Which I've done before, but.
What's your dream theater?
Dream theater. Isn't that a band?
Yeah. I just like putting it into the question.
Dream theater to play at. I always wanted to play at the Woodward, and I almost had it.
Yeah.
I almost had it.
That was supposed to be on the 28th, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But that's going to be sometime in like April now, if it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than that, you guys say the big ones like Madison Square Garden or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that Wolfpack show they did there. That was sweet. Do something like that.
What's been your favorite show you've seen so far? Could be local, could be big bands.
One of the best ones recently was that Silmar and Bendigo Fletcher show at the Woodward. That was sweet. I saw pretty much the same show, like, I think it was like 3 years ago, except Pine Box opened for them. But yeah, they're both just so good, and also just such super nice people. But yeah, Silmar practices like right over there, like upstairs and down the hallway.
Was that the drumming that I was hearing earlier?
Probably, yeah, that was probably Ethan. Yeah.
What's some advice that you've heard or somebody's given you that's stuck with you over the years? Just of recent?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of advice. I usually just kind of brush it off because a lot of it's like contradictory. Like you'll get told like follow your dreams, and then be told the next day like be cautious, don't jump headfirst into anything. Like, I find that a lot of times when you're told something like a week, a month later, you'll just be told like the exact opposite. And so I don't really take much advice too seriously.
Interesting. Sign yourself out of here.
Fat Sal, goodbye.
Nice and easy.